I was thinking back to when I first started manifesting and trying to decipher what I needed to hear, what it was that I was struggling with most, what, if I had been told, it might have just finally clicked things into place. And that was kind of the idea that doubts aren't really the concern. Yes, of course, if you are plagued with doubts, if it's all you can think about, then that might be a concern. But having the odd doubt, having the bad day, having the spiral that goes on for a little bit longer than usual or desired is not going to break the bank with your manifestation. And in fact, worrying that your doubt is probably more impactful negatively to your manifestation than the doubt itself. You are human. I'm human. Everybody that you see, assuming you're not a conspiracy theorist, is human. Which means every single person is going to have doubts. They're going to have fears, bad days. And yet so many of us are manifesting the things that we want. I don't go a day without at least one or two negative thoughts, without a doubt, without remembering something from the past that makes me cringe or makes me, I suppose, kind of grateful that it didn't go worse than it did. And I've still manifested my person. I still manifest a consistent improvement in my relationship, manifest success within this channel and business and so on. Because doubts in and of themselves are not the enemy. You really can manifest while doubting. We just have to make sure that we do it right. Now, when I say manifest while doubting, I mean any kind of doubt. Not just will it happen, but is manifestation even real? Yes, you can manifest while doubting that manifestation is even real. The doubt of will it even happen? The doubt of am I doing it right? And so on. It is still possible to manifest in spite of that. But to do this, we have to understand that it is our dominant state that manifests. If, for example purposes, you go and do 1,000 affirmations in a day and then have 100 thoughts of doubts, fears, panics, and so on, that will still manifest because the 1,000 is drastically greater than the 100. So under those principles, it's fine. But if on the other hand, you're having, say, 500 of each, it really could go either way. Which is why sometimes we get a bit of movement and then it halts, or sometimes we have a complete dry spell and then it comes in a huge flood. If you're hovering around that middle area, you can probably assume that it's not going to be the most consistent, smooth journey. And then on the other side, if you're having 100 good affirmations and 1,000 doubts, as much as I don't want to tell you this, we can pretty much safely assume you're going to have a little bit of delay until you kick it back into gear. So what do we need to do then? Well, remember that you are the creative power and you are in control of your thoughts. It might be harder on some days than others, believe me, I know. But you are still the one in control of them. You are the observer of your thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. Which means when you notice yourself having a doubt, a fear, a spiral, a panic, you don't have to dive into that and associate with it and become it. You can quite literally sit there and go, I am aware that I have this desire to reach out, or I have this doubt or this fear, but that doesn't define what I do next. And then you can choose what you do next. So understand what it means to have your desire, how you would think, how you would feel, who you would be, and use that as the anchor point. So when you notice these doubts, when you notice these fears or whatever might come up that is negatively impacting, observe it. I am having a doubt. Take a deep breath to center yourself. Understand what would be more beneficial for you. Well, it's not going to be beneficial to reach into the 3D or to have a panic or to give into these feelings and so on. So if you need a bit more breathing to regulate, do so. This is for you to center yourself. Do your more breathing if you need it, or jump into what is better. If I know that my thoughts and my awareness create my reality, then I should ideally be entering the thoughts and awareness of having my desired my desired reality. So then you take that deep breath that we mentioned, a couple more if it's needed, and then you remind yourself, I already have it. It is already mine. For those Neville fans out there, you are already in Barbados. And then you loop that a couple of times until you feel the satisfaction that you've either overcome the potential spiral or, yeah, this really is done. And then you get on with your day. Because if we use those numbers that I gave you before, if for every doubt or panic or whatever is 1, if you catch it and replace it with something positive, then that's 1. You've cancelled it out. If you spend a couple more moments just doing a couple more affirmations, then you're adding that weight onto it. And then once you're done doing it in that moment, then you can get on with your day. You can detach, you can let go, you can let your seed grow, allowing your subconscious mind to bring it to pass. And if you can follow that simple process each and every time it's necessary, you can wipe your hands with any YouTube content going forward. You can unsubscribe from us all because you won't need anything more. The only reason why people do struggle with the doubt is because they let the doubt go on more than they should. And then they panic that because they let the doubt go on more than they should, they've screwed themselves. So let's say, for example, they've let the doubts go on for the quantity of 10 thoughts. That's 10. And then they've gone, oh God, I had a spiral. Have I ruined it? Have I screwed it? For another 10, that's 20 thoughts. And then they have to do 20 affirmations to counter it, if we're simplifying it with numbers. So what you should really be doing is this process when necessary. And I say when necessary because I don't think, believe, subscribe to, follow myself the process of consistent work all throughout the day. You need some time for your seed to grow. You never water a seed all day because you will drown it. You never put it in the sun all day, every day, because it will burn. Unless it's specific seeds that are fine with that, like cactus, for example. But generally speaking, a houseplant, if it's sat in the sun all day, every day, with no nutrients like water or anything, it will burn and die. Your seeds need a chance to grow, and your manifestation is the same. Which is why I always recommend, and you're probably sick of hearing me say it, but I will beat this dead horse until it drills into your head. Some work in the morning, some work in the evening, utilizing when the subconscious mind is in its naturally most receptive states, coming out of sleep and going into sleep. And then when the desire comes to mind, if you need to, as you go through your day. Other than that, leave it be, detach, work on your business, work on your physique, work on your job, work on your friends, work on your hobbies, work on what makes you happy. Because the more aligned you are to your desired outcome internally now, the more you bring it to pass. If when you have your desire, you'd be happy, you'd be abundant, you'd be just loving life, start being happy, abundant, and loving life now where possible. And then when your desire comes to mind, if they're good thoughts, let them rock. If your subconscious mind is naturally bringing you good things, that's a bloody good sign. Let them play. But if it's not so good things, you take that deep breath that we mentioned, you calm yourself down, take a couple if it's needed, and then remind yourself that you already have it, that it is done, that you are the person who has what you want, that you are in Barbados. And when you feel the satisfaction, or when you feel like you've at least outworked the negative in that moment, get on with your day, let it detach, let it come. And that's all you have to do. Not just with doubts, but with fears, with spirals, with negative thoughts, with your mum asking you, where is he or she? Or with your friends saying you should probably move on. Breathe, redirect, outwork, get on with your day. That's all I do, ladies and gentlemen. And you guys love my story about me with Katie. That is all I did. That's all I do now. This business, the little odd successes that I told you, like when I manifested like free games or money or whatever, that is all I do. I just simply notice where I'm at, understand that I am not my thoughts, I'm the observer of them, breathe to center myself, to, if possible, engage the parasympathetic nervous system, regulate said nervous system, and then focus on what I want. Because the more regulated your nervous system is, just simply the easier this whole process is. If you can do that, ladies and gentlemen, on a consistent basis where necessary, not all the time, just where it's needed, you can sit in my place right now, have your own channel, telling people how to do it, because you'll be a master manifester. It is really that simple, but we often overcomplicate it, or we understand the theory and then don't apply it as much as we should. And believe me, I've been there as well. I've had months financially where I struggled because I focused so much on the problem that I forgot my inner capabilities to manifest myself out of it. And it wasn't until I snapped myself out of it and went, oh, what am I doing? I am the creative power, that I was then able to pull myself back. So believe me, it is this simple. We just need to apply it where necessary as best as we can. But I really hope that video has helped. If it has, drop me a like and a comment to let me know. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and be sure to click that bell icon so you don't miss future releases that really could change your life. And if you are in need of my one-to-one help to tailor advice to your situation specifically, so you can stop sifting through video after video after video, trying to piece it all together in some kind of Frankenstein's monster of YouTube content, then I do have products, services, courses, and academies available for you. Everything is linked down below in my on the website, which is linked down below. Check it out if you are in need in that little bit of help. But for now, thank you very much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.